Really like what we're seeing from our guys from a toughness standpoint, from a mentality standpoint. Obviously, with the exception of today, the weather has been pretty challenging, and our guys have not backed down. They've done a really good job of staying hydrated in recovery and staying ahead of the curve physically. So I've been impressed with that. It's been give and take on both sides of the ball. There's been moments where the offense has had their times. There's been moments when the defense has had their time, creating pressure and havoc on the defensive side of the ball, which is what you want to see. You want to see the back and forth on both sides. Yesterday, after careful consideration, made the decision to name Brady Cook our starting quarterback. When we look at the starting quarterback position, we really evaluate 5 key things. We start with toughness, both mental and physical, the ability to perform at your full God-given ability regardless of the circumstance. And Brady, as well as all of the quarterbacks that we have demonstrated these 5 characteristics, but these are the things that we really evaluate. Preparation, spending the extra time, understanding not only the playbook, but the preparation of understanding your teammates, who they are, what are the matchups, are you spending time in the film room? Decision making, when the ball is in your hand, what do you do? All right, we can coach you up all the way up until the ball is snapped, but you got to have a decision-making mechanism that you're going to take care of the football and take care of your team. And then accuracy, ball placement. There's no defense for the perfect throw, and so we got to have pinpoint accuracy right there. And then the last thing is leadership, which for us is set the example and then bring others with you. All right, set the example of what it means to be a great teammate, but then you got to bring other people with you. And again, all of our quarterbacks throughout camp and throughout their careers have displayed different levels of these things. And it was a battle. I'll say this: I've got more confidence in our quarterback room than since any point that I've had since I've been here. I think there's 4 and 5 solid football players that have competed every single day to be the best version of themselves. And so I'm excited about what they can do. Okay, but in a competition, everybody's got to raise their level a little bit. And I'll say this about our quarterbacks: they didn't back away from the competition. Didn't back away when there was the public pursuit of some transfer quarterbacks. They didn't run. They ran to the fight. And was really proud of them for that. And Brady especially, he ran to the fight. And he never shied away from the competition. He kept working. He kept putting in those extra hours. Spent hours in the film room on Sunday, during the summer. Was here every Saturday with his teammates, leading, making sure we were throwing, making sure we were doing the things that we needed to do. It matters to him to be the starting quarterback at the University of Missouri, and I'm excited that he's our starting quarterback. I know I can lay my head on the pillow knowing that he's going to give us and all these fans in this state everything he's got. So with that, it's going to be his job. Like I told him last night, it's my job to get him to start it, and I've done that. He's earned it. It's up to him to finish. And it's up to him to finish the job at quarterback. And so with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Eli, I don't know if you had a time frame coming in for when you wanted to be settled on a guy, but did you make this decision sooner than you expected to at all?
Yeah, maybe so. I actually thought the competition was really good. We went live with everybody on Sunday. All the quarterbacks were live, and just felt like really after Sunday, came back Monday. Brady had a really good day Sunday in that live scrimmage, taking hits, making plays with his feet, leading the offense on scoring drives. And then I thought he came back the next day and just had another good day, stacked some good days together. And at that point, I just felt like for us offensively and for this team to take the next step, let's solidify who our quarterback was, eliminate the questions and the indecision. And that's what they pay me to do. They pay me to make decisions, and so we made it, and we're going to move forward.
Brady, before Day was talking about how we spent a lot of time in the film room too, and you mentioned that too. And how have you seen that in the first week and a half of camp?
Yeah, I think he's obviously got a great grasp on our offensive scheme. I mean, this is for Brady, his third fall camp, and he's put this thing in several times, so he knows the scheme. He's a step ahead of as far as us knowing the adjustments that we need to make. He's doing a really good job with creating the camaraderie and getting on the same page with Connor on our calls and identifications, and so I think that's giving him a heads up. I'd say this: our defense is presenting a lot of different looks, and Blake does a really good job creating havoc on his scheme. So for us to be able to be where we're at offensively with him at quarterback just is a tribute to how much extra time he's put in.
Eli, behind Brady, will those guys keep competing? Is that an ongoing thing that could go on?
Yeah,
all year?
yeah. I don't know if it'll go on all year, but absolutely, I think Sam Horn has done an excellent job since he's been here. I mean, he is a lot further ahead than I kind of expected, to be honest, coming out of not being here and seeing a guy that just shows up in the summer and then gets his fall camp. But he still has his rookie moments, and so we're still letting him just grow into the best version of himself on a daily basis, trying to make sure that we get those young guys. There's a lot of really good young players on our team, but the thing they have to have is reps. So we're prioritizing at the end of every practice, making sure they get reps. Tyler Macon has done everything we've asked him to do. And so has Jack, and both of those guys were disappointed. And I told them, if you weren't disappointed, you don't have the right kind of makeup to be the quarterback. And so they're absolutely disappointed. But they both bounced back today with really good energy and understand that this team's on a bigger mission. And I know both of those guys and all three of those guys will be ready if their number's called.
You mentioned how much it means to Brady to be the starting quarterback. Obviously, kid from St. Louis. Has he kind of talked to you about what that means, really, more in depth than him being from Missouri?
Yeah. I vividly remember the night before the Georgia game telling Brady that I was going to start Tyler in that game, and how disappointed he was, but how resilient he was to put the team first. And at that moment, I knew he was a special young man, because he could have been mad at me, could have been mad at the world, could have pouted, but he waited for his moment and came in there and played with some big heart. And then same thing in the bowl game, came in, played hard, gave us an opportunity to win the game, and obviously it wasn't good enough in both of those games. We got to get better, and we got to play better. But it really meant something to him, in the locker room afterwards, losing, and so I think that we had another meeting this summer when it was public about all the different transfer opportunities that maybe we were looking into, and he just said, "Coach, it means nothing more to me than be the starting quarterback at the University of Missouri. So I'm here. I'm gonna fight for it, and as long as you're telling me it's an open competition, regardless of what happens, I'm gonna be here." And so, again, he's done everything we've asked him to do and more.
Did any of that surprise you at all? I mean, he went through a coaching change before he got here, and a lot of guys aren't sticking around through a lot of that in this day and age.
No, I mean, I think he's a great young man of character. Obviously, it's a tribute to his parents, who've done just a great job of raising him. Again, it means something for him to be here at the University of Missouri. And, man, I can't wait to see the restaurants line up for the Brady Cook endorsements.
Eli, I know you've taken a little bit more of a hands-off role with the quarterbacks this season with Shandon in there. How much have you leaned on him throughout this process over the past sort of 3 days meeting?
Oh, I've been leaning on Bush Hamden my whole life. Ever since I met him, I mean, he's an outstanding person. He's one of the best football coaches I've ever been around. He's a guy that I have complete trust in that room. He's runs the offense on a day-to-day basis when I can't be in there. He's no doubt one of the best coaches in the country, in my opinion. And so I think the other thing that I realize about Coach Hamden is how much it means to him, because he lived the same experience. He competed for the job at Boise in his senior year and didn't get it, and so he was able to relate those life experiences to the rest of those guys, and still voted captain and still one of those guys that everybody looks up to, from his playing days. So he's got great experience and wisdom, and we're really fortunate here to have him. I think in the past, Mizzou's had a lot of really good assistant coaches that have gone on to have unbelievable careers. Andy Reid and Marty Morningwig and Dirk Cutter, and I think in 10 years, 15 years, we'll look back and say the same thing about Bush Hampton.
How does Brady and his skills fit into what you kind of envision for where this offense kind of next year?
Yeah, really for us, it's about fitting it to what he does best. It's about taking our offense and pushing it in the direction that Brady can really operate. Brady's worked really hard since he's been here to continue to become an accurate passer. He's got good arm strength and velocity. He's a tough runner, but his I think biggest strength is between his ears. He's got a great mind. He understands exactly what we're doing, and he anticipates what defenses are doing and knows what the scheme answers are. And so we've got to do a good job of giving him opportunities to play to his strengths. I do think one of the things that he likes to do is run the football, and I think that was one thing that we kind of emphasized in these first 10 days at camp was let's make sure that we don't shy away from the quarterback run game, which we did a little bit too much maybe the previous 2 years.
His ability there and that athleticism, I think, surprised a lot of people who maybe hadn't seen him play. I mean, was that something that you saw even his freshman year that, hey, this is something he's got?
Yeah, I mean, redheads are great athletes, man. I don't know why everybody's surprised by that. No, I think that's kind of when you look at his numbers in the weight room with Coach Russ, I mean, he's got a great vertical jump. He's one of the 15, maybe 20th fastest players on our teams. When you look at his 40 times, he's got incredible strength numbers. He works at everything you ask him to do. I mean, the dude's going to graduate with a degree in December in 3.5 years. I mean, and most people don't know this, but he graduated early. Chaminade had never let it happen before. He actually graduated, got his GED to come to school here and enroll early, and then they retroed back his degree from Chaminade. So like it means something for him to be here. So yeah, Mama Cook's not real happy about that story, but Jim was fine with it.
Is having him in that role as sort of the in-state guy, does that help with recruiting?
No, best player's gonna play. Nah, that really didn't factor into the decision at all. I don't care if he was from Mars or Michigan or Chaminade. It didn't matter to me. We gotta have the best player play, and whoever rose to the competition, and he did.
How does his skill set allow you to be a more aggressive play caller?
I think that's just got to be the mindset I've got to be. I can't go into a game trying to protect him from these mistakes or this mistake or can't run the football or blah, 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 blah. It's, hey, we're going to go run whatever we feel like is the best opportunity for us to win. We got to put that in the game plan and let him go. We come up with the ingredients. He's got to cook the meal.
How many times do you plan to use this?
A lot.
Quick injury stuff. I mean, is Nate Pete back? And then I know Tavoris looked like he might have been a little bit banged up there.
Yeah, who's thinking put that on the internet? Huh? Wasn't it somebody in here put T-Man pulling up on the? That's I throw y'all a bone, letting y'all watch a couple of live deals. Nate Pete's out there. He's not 100%. He tweaked a soft. He's back full speed from his first 3-day miss, but then he tweaked a soft tissue injury. But I anticipate he'll be back probably tomorrow night for the scrimmage. If not, if the docs think we need to give him another day off, Fridays are off day, and then Saturday's family weekend, so he'll be ready to go by Saturday. T-Man, pulled up in his first college carry in a live scrimmage, scores a touchdown, and got a little bit of a knot in the back of his hammy. So nothing serious. We'll be able to get that corrected.
This is kind of big picture, but it touches on Brady a little bit. People talk about developmental programs in college football, ones that maybe don't recruit top 10 classes but still win really well. Is that harder to do in this league where you've got to invest in players and develop them over time rather than just throw out a 5-star to replace another 5-star?
It's hard to do if you're getting rid of coaches every 3 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're not going to give people time to develop and build their programs, then that's a tough way to go. If the mindset of the programs and whatever are different, you got to win right now, then coaches don't have that opportunity. I think irregardless at that position, quarterbacks have to develop into their self. They got to find their identity as a quarterback, and then they got to find their identity within the framework of the offense. And so it's hard to play. It's hard to play all the positions in college football, but man, it's really hard to play quarterback, especially with the expectations and the pressure. And so, yeah, I think you have to give guys time. You know, we told Sam we're putting you in the incubator and, you know, let you bake a little bit.
Anything else for Coach?
Since you named your quarterback, do you want to tell us the other 21 starters?
I mean, no, not really. I mean, I got a pretty good idea on most of them, but like the punter is still, it's too close to call. We're going to try to really figure that out tomorrow in our live scrimmage. I will say this, man, we're having really good competition. I mean, there are people that are uncomfortable right now in the depth chart. You know, guys that have been on the ones for 2 years and they're running with the twos. And it's not personal. It's meritocracy, man. You get what you earn, and just because you've been here before doesn't mean you just get to roll in there. You got to produce and you got to perform. And in the past, maybe we didn't have enough depth to get that done. We do now. We do, and it's a battle out there, man. You don't bring your A game, your butt's going to the twos, and so that's been a lot of fun. It's been challenging. People don't like that, but that's where the growth happens, man. Where there's that confrontation and that response. That's why this camp so far has been a lot of fun.
I don't know if Javon Foster's one of those guys, but he seems like he's getting a lot of attention this year coming into the year based on what he did last year. Kind of where is he in his development?
Yeah, Javon's running with the ones. No, you know what though? But he's a great example of a guy who had to earn his way and doesn't take it for granted, man. That sucker brings his A game, and in the weight room, in the meeting room, always taking notes. He's absolutely getting a lot of attention. When you play left tackle in this league and you get to go against some of the great players in this league and you hold your own, which he's done consistently, you get noticed. And you know, he's going to end up being a 2.5-year starter, potentially a 3.5-year starter in this league. It's pretty special. Pretty special.
Anything else? Thank you, sir.
Yep.